Yo, what's up, everybody, man? This is yours truly, man. This is Chris, man, here with That Square Podcast slash Sports. Checking out the channel, man. I hope all is well. I got the not the Vapor Max, I'm sorry, the VR Nikes. Excuse me, and the Tims, and I got, of course, the Aggies. They can finally come out and hide again. You know, we did a good job this week. Only if I can get my Texans, if I can get my Texans to win a game, at least, not tie with nobody. We're not here to talk about that. Well, we already talked about a little bit of it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yo, check me out. Like, comment, subscribe. You can go back and forth. I ain't got nothing better to do. I just work 2 jobs and I do a YouTube channel for fun, baby. This is me. With that being said, check this out. This is going to be week 4 for college football, and this is going to be week 3 for the NFL. All right, let's dive in, shall we? Week 4. Sorry, I'm tripping. Highlights from week 3, which was amazing. I think Michigan's finally found a quarterback that has a different style of play. And I will talk about that more in depth of when they play Maryland this week. Appalachian State, Hail Mary. I guess them boys are still rocking up there in Carolina. Of course, you know my Aggies, they took care of business against the Canes. Florida, what is Florida exactly doing, struggling against South Florida like that? I don't know what's going on there. Bama and Georgia look like Bama and Georgia. Okay, nothing's wrong there. So USC looks like they're a real threat in the NCAA. I actually kind of like Caleb Williams a lot more now. Spencer Sanders, I think, is the best quarterback in the draft if he does decide to come out this year. Same thing with Malik Cunningham. I know he's either going to come out this year or not. The next Lamar Jackson 2.0. Definitely going to sit seats in the NFL. I really don't have much on this week. I kind of was excited for more so of this week now because everything's going into conference play for the college football world, which I do love. And I will be talking about FanDuel too as well. I don't want to jump too far away from that. So let's just dive in, shall we? First things first, top 25 polls. We got number 17, Baylor at Iowa State. If it was me, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to definitely go with about maybe 50 points being scored in this game. And don't be surprised for the upset because Baylor struggled against Texas State. They looked bad. Like, in a sense, not saying that, you know, they played good football. Of course, they blew them out, but it was ugly how they were doing it. So I don't think they'll beat Iowa State at Iowa State. So I'm going to roll with Iowa State on that one. They do lose. Michigan versus Maryland. Both are undefeated. What's the best way to say this? Don't buy into the hype of Maryland because who did they play? But then the same thing with Michigan as well. They haven't played anybody either. So it's really hard to determine who is who and what is what. My biggest thing for me right now is I think that Maryland does not have the capacity on offense to hold the defensive line of Michigan. So I think that Michigan wins this game by 2 touchdowns. If you're a betting man, I'm going to probably say somewhere between 40 and 35 points. It's not going to be as high scoring as people think. I think Maryland gets a couple of charity touchdowns at the end of the game to make it that 14-point spread. But yeah, I got Michigan winning. And by the way, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I start McCarthy. Start McCarthy. Do it right away. You got to. Because if you don't, it's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of eyebrows being raised. I understand what the other guy did for you last year, beating Ohio State, 11-1, you know, going to the college playoffs. I get that. That's great. But McCarthy is the better quarterback, and I mean it. All right. Also, we got number 5, Clemson versus Wake Forest. This is going to be a fun game. I think Wake Forest is going to do the upset only because I just love A.T. Perry. Who's going to guard A.T. Perry on Clemson? No one is going to guard him. I think he's going to definitely go either top 5 in the NFL draft this year if he decides to come out. Him and Addison are right there neck and neck at best receiver in college football. If Downs decides to play anytime this season, and if Wicks can probably get the ball at Virginia. But that's for another day, for another talk, for another topic. Clemson, I like ukulele. I really do, but ukulele, I hope I'm saying his name right. But I like him. Game manager, I don't think that he's going to beat Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest will just air it out on you. You see what they did to Vandy. And I know Vandy's not the top tier school in the SEC, but it is an SEC school. And I want to dive into that too after I'm done talking about that certain conference alignments that I'm starting to understand how things are rolling. but Wake Forest just seems to have the better offense. The Clemson does have the guys up front, though, defensively, and they can run the ball if they need to. We've seen that in these past few games. So I'm leaning more towards Wake because of the spread, just to spread out the defense and the one-on-one matchups. They can get it, but reality speaks, yeah, I like Clemson, but Wake Forest wins this game. I would not be surprised if they upset them. Points on that, I'm probably going to say Wake Forest is going to put up at least 28. I think Clemson can match them with about 21. So we're looking at, 49? Is that what we're looking at? Oh, my math is terrible. Wait, no, yeah, 49, yeah, 49. My math is right, yeah. We're looking at about maybe 49 to 50 points of that game. Next up, Tennessee versus Florida. Florida is going to Tennessee. This is a game where if one school loses, the program has fallen far away. But if one program wins, the program has been brought back to prominence. And looking at how Florida's played these past 3 weeks, the Kentucky game, the Utah game, and the South Florida game, Florida does not look like they are prepared for anything. They are just, it's exciting football, I'm not going to lie. It's fun to watch if you're a Gator fan. I know your heart is beating, but the reality is, man, Florida doesn't look like Florida. On the other side of that coin, Tennessee hasn't been Tennessee since I was, maybe 10, 11, Arian Foster days. Back when I was a sophomore in high school, I said 10, 11. That jumped dramatically, right? They weren't even that good even in that time either, in 08, 09, like that. I want to see Florida win because I like the Gators more than I do with the Volunteers. I think that Tennessee wins this game and they bring the program back to prominence. Better quarterback play. Well, no one's a better quarterback play. I think that Florida has a football player who can go all around. As for Tennessee, they have more football skill position players in their area to help them assess and win the game. So I think I'm going to roll with Tennessee in this one. It is a rivalry game, so it's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, Tennessee wins this game. Volunteers come back to prominence. I think that it's going to be good for that whole program. It's going to be great. Still a couple of recruits, old school, McDonald's bag. You know how we roll. Texas versus Texas Tech. Texas gives up a lot of points on offense. However, who's going to cover Delhi for Texas? Because Texas Tech, their quarterback situation is figured out now because of injury. But I do think Texas pulls this off, but it's not going to be a pretty win. It's going to be very ugly, extremely ugly win. Oregon versus Washington State. I like Oregon, but don't be surprised if Washington State puts up a fight. Arkansas, Texas A&M. No questions asked. I'm going with my Aggies. No questions asked. Next assignment. No. This is going to be one of those games where you're going to see either, Max Johnson, King for A&M. I don't know what they got going on over there. Those two quarterbacks. Then you've got KJ Jefferson at Arkansas, and they got that rocket running back. It's basically just going to be run the ball down your throat for Arkansas. It's not like they're throwing it. As opposed to A&M, who is trying to do so much, but they have this great running back named Devon Acho, who can really ball if they just give him the ball. Because he's proven it time and time again. Get him the ball some way, somehow. They're over analyzing this as A&M teams, as the A&M. As opposed to Arkansas, they know what they are, and they had this amazing linebacker. I cannot think of his name. I think he's number 42 for Arkansas. That boy can go and can play. No questions asked. Lights out. But I'm going to go with Aggies because this is a heart decision. Next up, we got Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Ohio State beats Wisconsin, even though they're going to play keep away. Stanford versus Washington. Do not be surprised if Stanford actually beats Washington. I do have actually Stanford beating Washington. I will roll with that. I think Stanford just plays keep away with the ball, suffocates the clock. Washington likes to score up front. I understand they beat Michigan State. Once again, it's Michigan State. Yeah. Anyways, Utah versus Arizona State. I like Utah to beat Arizona State, even though they do have that cool quarterback that can't transfer from Florida. But watching how they played against Oklahoma State, that ain't gonna cut it. That's not gonna happen. All right. That being said, that is all college football. Let's move to the NFL Week 3. All right, for the Thursday night game. Okay, for the Thursday night game, we got Browns versus the Steelers. Steelers have no quarterback. Browns can just run the ball. Cleveland wins this game. Not even close. For the 1 p.m.s on Sundays, we got Buffalo versus Miami. Of course, we all know the Buffalo is going to win that game. We have Kansas City versus the Colts. We all know that Kansas City is going to win that game. Ravens versus the Patriots. Action Jackson. And then they put away the Patriots this time. Not how like Miami came back on them this weekend. Terrible. Best game of the week right here. Washington versus the Eagles. This is going to be fun because it's Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz. It's basically saying, welcome home versus, oh, I'm home. So this is going to be a fun game to watch. Wentz versus Hurts. Was it worth it? Should they have moved on from him? All these things, mixed emotions. Washington's got a receiving core, by the way. Curtis Samuel, Jahad Dotson, and Terry McLaurin, and Logan Thompson. Yes, they got weapons, baby. They got weapons out there. I suppose for the Eagles, they got A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, which is okay, but Washington got them weapons. But you know what the Eagles do have? That's secondary, and they embarrassed Kirk Cousins on Monday night tonight. They embarrassed him. And I would not be surprised if they do Carson Wentz the same exact way. So this is going to be probably the game of the week. Plus 50 points will be scored easily. I'm going to probably roll with the Eagles just because they're at home. No, they're not at home. I'm sorry, they're not at home. Are they at home? I don't think they're at home. Are they? Let me look that up real quick. While I'm doing that, the next game I got is the Lions versus the Vikings. I actually have Jared Goff and them going down, taking care of business this week against no, that's not what I was looking at. I have Jared Goff and them going against the Vikings. They're beating them. Bengals versus the Jets. This is my surprise for the week. I got the Jets beating the Bengals. Bengals starting off 0-3. Not a huge big Burrow fan. I don't know why people are a fan of Burrow. He throws a lot of interceptions. And Washington is playing at home against the Eagles, so I'm going to go with Washington. Raiders versus Titans. Raiders win this game. They finally get a win. Houston versus Chicago. Houston wins this game. They finally get a win. Saints versus the Panthers. I actually like the Saints in this game. So Saints wins this. Jags versus the Chargers. Do not be surprised if the Jaguars win this game. And the only reason why I say that is because that defense for the Jags is the truth. This is going to be probably the second funnest game of the week. Touch it, play it, whatever you do with it. To me, honestly, this is probably going to come down to Trevor Lawrence if he makes a mistake. I got the Chargers winning this game, but don't be surprised if you see the Jaguars win that. Cardinals versus Rams. Rams got that on pack. Bucks versus the Packers. Well, let's be realistic, guys. Come on now. Buccaneers win this game. I love Aaron Rodgers, but let's be realistic. Aaron Rodgers ain't beating them. Seahawks versus the Falcons. Falcons actually win this game. Geno Smith is trash. Broncos versus the 49ers. Cool. If Jimmy G plays, the Broncos lose. If Trey Lance plays, the Broncos win this game. So basically it comes down to quarterback play. If Jimmy G suiting up, Niners win. Trey Lance suits up, Broncos win. That's how I look at it, pretty much. Monday night game, Dallas versus the New York Giants. I actually like Dallas in this matchup. For the simple fact, the Giants are actually 2-0, right? If I'm not mistaken, they beat Carolina this week. I'm gonna roll with the Giants. You know why? Because Danny Dimes, Saquon Barkley, they animals right now. They're doing a good job. Yo, what's it to it? That's my picks for week 3, college football and NFL. And real quick, if you're playing FanDuel this week, top priority quarterbacks to get fall in line with of course, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Stafford. Those are your top tier quarterbacks. You gotta if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right. Those are your top tier quarterbacks. Your mediocre quarterbacks are gonna be Joe Burrow and Carson Wentz. Cheap but efficient people: Jared Goff, Winston, Lawrence, and Mills. I like Goff because the Vikings secondary. I like Wentz because he's just gonna throw it, and I like Lawrence because, well, ETN, James Robinson, they find ways to just get through the secondary, the linebackers. They beat them, so I love it. Mills, I like Mills because he's going against Chicago, and it's kind of one of those games where if he doesn't do good, this is it. The Texans, we're sold in on getting a quarterback in this year's draft, and it's done. That's pretty much it with this game. Running backs, I love DeAndre Swift. That's my number one top priority. DeAndre Swift, Damian Pierce out of Houston Texans, and Michael Carter from the Jets, or Bryce Hall, however you want to do it. Antonio Gibson, Cordell Patterson, Austin Eckler. I love all of those guys. I'm not paying up. Listen, if I'm playing FanDuel, I'm not paying up for Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, or Dalvin Cook. They have not produced what I'm looking for this season. At 8,000 plus, you better be at least putting up at least 15 at bare minimum. They have not done that all season. So I'm not going for those players. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. I'm not paying for that much. These guys right here that I just named, Austin Eckler, Swift, Patterson, Gibson, Bryce Hall, Michael Carter, Damian Pierce, all at least 12 and up. I'll take it. I'll take it for under 7,000, under 7,900. I'll take it. I'll take it with ease. Receivers, Cooper Kupp, obviously, of course, he's going against Arizona. Name me a corner. Justin Jefferson, name me a corner against them. Besides Jeff Okudah, who's probably going to be guarding him. Vontae Adams, he's just proven every week he does his thing. Jamar Chase. Dallas kind of got locked up against Dallas, so I like Garrett Wilson too for the Jets. Tyreek Hill, obviously, Tyreek Hill. Amon St. Brown, yes sir. Jalen Waddle. You can get one of the two. You could double stack them, or you could just gotta get the cheaper version of Tyreek Hill, which is Jalen Waddle. Hollywood Brown, nice. Terry McLaurin, aka Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, Jahad Dotson. You're guaranteed 10 points at least out of one of those three, easily. Drake London against Seattle this week. I love it. DJ Shark, same thing against the Vikings. Who's gonna cover him? Rashard Bateman has put up, a touchdown in every game. So I like Rashard Bateman a lot, especially at his price. It's very manageable and doable. I don't see why you wouldn't do it. Tight ends, we got Waller. I like Waller. Kelsey, because of course he's going against Indiana. I don't think they have a linebacker that can cover him. OJ Howard, I like him. Mark Andrews, of course, and Logan Thomas, both of them really good. Mark Andrews and Logan Thomas, they both catch on the backfield. And also you can get Clement too for Chicago. I think Justin Fields, that's his best friend. Him and Darren Mooney, they're pretty good together. And then of course, if you're gonna go defense, number one top priority defense would be Arizona. I lied. It's not Arizona. That's the cheapest defense, but I'm not going there. The number one defense you should get this week would be the Jets. Next in line would be Carolina. And the reason why I say those two is because Winston is going to throw a pick, bad eye. And then the Jets, believe it or not, they're probably going to get a pick from Joe Burrow too as well. So it falls in line perfectly fine with that. The problem is if you're going to go and get, if you're going to go against them and you're going to go get Philly against Carson Wentz, they just cost too much. I see you dressing it up. You're going to lose out on certain people. But Philly is going to get turnovers. Do not be surprised if the Lions have a really good pass rush with, Aiden Hutchinson. And he proved a lot pretty much this week against the Washington Commanders that he can hold his own. 5 sacks, 1 pick. I'm impressed. We watched Jacksonville put a shutout. So I'm with it against the Chargers. I know there are a lot of offensive weapons, but if Keenan Allen is still down, you just got to lock in on, Mike Williams and Carter and Palmer, Austin Eckler. I think that, Jacksonville can have the capacity to hold off on that, especially with that first-round draft pick, the way he playing. He ain't no bust. He busting down them offenses, though, but he ain't no bust. Pretty much that is it for this week. Always like, comment, subscribe. I'm always open. If I sound like I'm talking too much, if I sound like I'm talking a little, let me know. Also, man, drop your favorite team in the comments. With that being said, got the Nash jersey and I'm out. I'm really bad at editing this part.